Miami Heat have definitely talked trades on DeMar DeRozan since before the draft. John Collins in Utah, the Heat have always seemed to be the most likely trade possibility for him. Let's get into the video.
George Hayos is asking, what is some of the other stuff I mentioned Miami's involved in? They have definitely talked trade on DeMar DeRozan since before the draft. John Collins in Utah, the Heat have always seemed to be the most likely trade possibility for him. But the Heat can't do all these things at once. They can't do all these things. They can really only do one, to my really best understanding. So we're waiting to see what Miami ultimately does end up coming here with for the remainder of the offseason.
The Miami have pretty much been telling us they want to go young. My thing is, what's the point of really getting a guy like DeMar DeRozan? I know John Collins, he's on an expiring, but he's also making like 23, 24, $25 million. My thing is, we have to stay flexible. We have to stay young. I get it. DeMar DeRozan's a great regular season scorer, but this is the season, unfortunately, where everyone's out. The East is wide open. But then at the same time, the Miami Heat, they're moving in this youth movement. It just sucks that both of these things are going on at the same time, which we should have been going in this youth movement a while ago because we technically really didn't go all in for Jimmy Butler. But let's get into some more trade rumors with Jonathan Kuminga.
For now, I'm not really anticipating the Bulls even being a scenario for Kuminga. So lastly, the Miami Heat, I think, are probably his most likely landing spot. That's not Golden State. And to my understanding, the Heat are involved in several things as well. So he might not even be necessarily their top option. So don't expect much movement for Jonathan Kuminga right now.
The local media and the mainstream media have both linked Jonathan Kuminga to the Miami Heat. I think the holdup is it all comes down to the money. It's going to be a sign-in trade, but once again, I'm not going to overpay for Jonathan Kuminga. Jonathan Kuminga said that he has to prove himself. That means he's going to get a prove-it deal. Also, too, the Pelicans and the Kings, they've been asking for Kuminga. But I can't blame the Golden State Warriors. Why am I going to give you a young potential star so that you guys can now wreak havoc on me for the next years to come? So they're definitely going to try to at least trade him to the Eastern Conference. Damian Lillard never wanted to be in Milwaukee. He was a pro and tried to make the best of it. He didn't want to be there. He had to actively try to make sure he wasn't miserable. And now, hey, if he still wants to go to Miami, that's probably going to be on the table. Let's get into the video.
As far as like getting his walking papers from Milwaukee, he never wanted to be in Milwaukee. And he was a pro and he tried to make the best of it. But it's not like the Bucks weren't bad with him, but it goes down as one of the all-time disappointments. To make that kind of trade and then not even get a playoff series win of it, it's an all-time disappointment. But again, he didn't want to be there. He had to actively tried to make sure he wasn't miserable. And now, hey, if he still wants to get to Miami, that's probably going to be on the table. If he wants to, go back to the Bay Area, his hometown, there might be an opportunity there.
So I was actually surprised. There's a lot of Miami Heat fans that are saying they don't want Damian Lillard here. Obviously, we would get him on a cheap deal. He's already getting waived and stretched by the Milwaukee Bucks, I think $22 million over the next 5 seasons. So any team that gets him, they're not going to have to pay a crazy amount of money. The Lakers, the Celtics, the Golden State Warriors, the Miami Heat, they've already been linked to Damian Lillard. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. I know this team is completely different from the beginning. When we wanted him, we had Jimmy, Tyler, Bam. That's exactly when we wanted Damian Lillard on this roster. But unfortunately, things have changed, and it's really only Tyler and Bam. And I understand a lot of people are saying, well, he's an older point guard. Why would we want him? At the end of the day, you can't say no to Damian Lillard on a cheap deal. Here's some more Damian Lillard trade rumors. Damian Lillard is going to have a whole year to rehab, whether it's with a team or on his own with his family in Portland. And then the summer of 2026 can just pick whatever team he wants to. I mean, I think Miami's going to be in play as it was before for Damian Lillard at this point. Now, I know a lot of other people are saying that he can even come back by the time the playoffs roll around. Obviously, we're not going to rush a 36-year-old point guard back from injury, especially an Achilles injury. I think he really should take the whole year off. But who knows? If he's able to come back by the playoffs, depending on the team he picks, there really is no rush at the same time. Like, let's just say he hypothetically goes to the Dallas Mavericks. That team is loaded. If he goes to a loaded team or like the Golden State Warriors, he doesn't necessarily have to rush back. It just depends on the roster. It depends on the record. It depends on what the team is doing at that time.
A couple of stories with him in SI about the challenges of not playing in Milwaukee, but living in Milwaukee,
Yes.
being away from his family and being in an environment that was new and uncomfortable to him. He's going to have a whole year to rehab, whether it's with a team or, on his own with his family in Portland. And then summer of 2026 can just pick whatever team he wants to, go there on the minimum, still get all the money he was owed on the back end of that contract. I mean, I think Miami's going to be in play as it was before for Dame at that point. Yeah, I think it's a win. It's an overall win for Damian Lillard.
Per Barry Jackson, part 2 of the plan is to try to quickly pounce if an in-his-prime star or a very good player becomes available in the trade market. It has been widely reported that Giannis Antetokounmpo will be a Heat target if he acts out of Milwaukee, and that's very likely. The thing about Giannis is you really don't know what he's going to do. I don't think he's going to be staying in Milwaukee long term. There's no way they're going to be able to. They don't even own their first-round picks for the next 5 years. So they're screwed. It's going to be hard for them. Brook Lopez is gone. Pat Connaughton is gone. Their team has looked completely different. Yes, they got Miles Turner, but that's about it. What are they going to do long term? They waived and stretched Damian Lillard. Then he claims he's upset. We all know he's not upset. He traded Drew Holiday. He traded Middleton. He traded Drew Bledsoe. He got the coach fired. They don't make any decisions without Giannis's approval. Everything goes, and it's either yes or no if Giannis says so. So when it comes to the Miami Heat, like I always tell you guys before, the Milwaukee Bucks said if we trade Giannis, we're going to want everything from the other team. The coach, the cheerleaders, the arena, the parking lot, the city. They're going to want everything, all the first-round picks, all the youth, everything. So that's where Giannis is kind of screwed because they're going to now pretty much handicap him from pretty much going forward with his new team. And that's the thing that the Miami Heat have to think about. If you're not going to include at least Bam Adebayo, they're not going to pick up the phone. Why would they? Because you're going to have other teams that are going to be willing to give everything up for Giannis. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Hit that subscribe button, and thank you for all the support.